So students, can you see the slide? Am I audible? Can anyone reply? Please reply.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
perfect. So what we were discussing in the previous class was the broad area of general insurance. And what we understood, the meaning of general insurance is concerned, it is a contract in which the insurer assumes to compensate the insured in case of any loss or damage. So it's also called as a non-life insurance. So there are various insurance which are very much compulsory, as everybody knows, like motor insurance. So what happens in case of general insurance, students? What we understood in the previous class, what gets transferred to an insurer is actually the variance of the individual risk. So the premium rates may be applied as class or individual rates. Then we even discuss the topics related to various types of general insurance, then importance of general insurance. Then one of the important thing what we understood was the formation of GIC. So wherein we discuss the major objectives of general insurance corporation, then the functions of general insurance corporation. See, in the previous class, if you remember, when I discussed about the functions of GIC, the major function was what? It performs the function of the general insurance first. That means the general insurance corporation does the work of general insurance business according to the provisions of the act. And the second important function what we discussed in the previous class was like assistance to general insurance companies, and in what way it will assist. So GIC, that is General Insurance Corporation, it provides help and suggestions to the general insurance companies according to the standard of conduct, and also for giving better service to the customers. See, ultimately, students, what we need to understand here is this GIC and IRDA is concerned. So they are working for the safety of all the individuals. And the third important function, what we discussed in the previous class, was controlling cost. That means this GIC, it helps the acquiring companies in controlling various costs like the payment of commission and other expenses. Then finally, the fourth important function what we discussed in the previous class was investment of funds. So when I say investment of funds, GIC helps the acquiring firms in the various decisions made by the firm. It gives them the advice about the investment of funds. Then we discussed about the subsidiaries of GIC, wherein we majorly understood about the some of the subsidiaries like Oriental Insurance Company Limited, New India Assurance Company Limited, then National Insurance Company Limited, and United India Insurance Company Limited. Then in the previous class, we finally discussed about some of the challenges of the General Insurance Corporation presently in India. Like as everybody knows that each and every business today has got one threat, that is competition, right? So when already one player is there, the new entrants or the new players will be coming into the market. So that is a threat or a competition or a tough competition for the existing players in the market, right? So what are some of the challenges of General Insurance Corporation, what we discussed? The first one was new insurers. So what is these new insurers? These insurers are to invest a minimum of 100 crore as capital. So the new insurers have to compete with the established insurers, correct? Oh, so who are the established insurers in India? Like we have LIC and GIC, which have created their corporate image over the last few decades, and they have a big network of branches as well as agents. Then the second important challenge was like existing insurers. The existing insurers, that is LIC and GIC, have created a large group of what we can say is dissatisfied customers, or the satisfied who are not happy with the services. It can be due to the poor quality of services. Hence, what these people might do is they will shift in the large number of customers from the so-called LIC and GIC to other private insurers. So what we are discussing now, we are discussing some of the major challenges of GIC. Then see, students, what happens is, as now there are more number of players in the market, the expectation from the people, or expectation from the individual also increases, right? They start comparing. So they start comparing with the policy of one company with the policy premium of another company, and whichever they feel feasible when it comes to coverage and the premium payment, they will go for that. So when there is a tough competition in the market, ultimately the expectation of the people or the individual will also increase. Correct. So that is one of the third challenge of the GIC. Then we have distribution channels as one of the fourth important challenge of GIC. See, in the liberalized insurance market, there are multi-distribution channels, which includes people who are selling the insurance products, like agents we have, then brokers, then we, even today's students, banks are also selling insurance. I think everybody know they are selling the insurance products, and even direct marketing through telesales and internet. Correct. Then the fifth important challenge is consumer education, or the or education or awareness to individuals. See, what is this education or the awareness to individuals? Many of the regulatory bodies today, like SEBI, IRDA, and Ministry of Corporate Affairs, what they're doing is they're trying to create awareness about the various financial products available in the market today to all the young people like you. See, very important, students, you should understand that the fixed deposit interest rates in today's bank is maximum. In nationalized banks, I'm telling you, it will be less than 6%, right? So when you compare to other financial instruments which are available in the market, so you will be getting better than the bank term deposits. But what is actually required is what? The awareness. Awareness from where? Awareness from the regulatory bodies, awareness from the exchanges, right? So when the awareness should be given is when the student, or when an individual has reached the college. That is the right age to create that awareness. Right. Then the last challenge of GIC could be something like consumer grievance redressal. So what is this consumer grievance redressal? The insurers have to face an acute problem of the redressal of the consumers regarding the grievances for the deficiency in products and services. So IRDA has already appointed ombudsman for looking into the grievances of the policyholder and its judgment. Then after understanding the GIC challenges, the objectives of GIC, we will try to understand some of the performance of the public and the private general insurance company operating in India. See, GI has been on an accelerated trajectory, that is 20% CAGR post tariff deregulation over the past 5 years. However, the industry has some way to go in terms of performance against the three key objectives. What you can see in the slide over there, students. The first could be performance based on providing universal access and coverage. You can see the slide here. I'll explain you in detail now. Then delivering returns to all the shareholders, and finally the customer experience and loyalty. So let me explain each point in detail. So the first would say providing universal access and coverage. So when I say universal access, that means what? Which is a detailed micro analysis of the underlying needs and risk indicate that there is a wide scope or a substantial scope to improve the penetration and access across the segments, which includes property insurance penetration, as everybody knows, which is less than 1%. How many of you have taken property insurance, home insurance? Tell me. Because of the awareness. Awareness is not there, right? So there is a significant underinsurance in segments such as two-wheelers and personal health. Then SME and rural risk coverage is substantially lower than the global benchmarks. And further, the total economic losses due to underinsurance are estimated to be close to rupee 150 to 2 lakh crore annually. You just imagine the size of the losses. And the second point would be delivering returns to shareholders. It is very important, right? Today, as I mentioned to you, everybody will compare the risk, return, liquidity factors when they're investing in any of the financial instrument. That's very important thing. If some company or if some term deposit rate is 5%, 5.5%, others will offer 5.6%, or someone will ask for 5.7%, right? There will be a just 10 paisa difference, but people will see what they will see, obviously the returns, higher returns. So delivering returns to shareholders means what? See, India has the highest combined ratio across developed and developing economies and across the time periods. So this has been largely driven by substantially higher claims ratios. As a result, the industry has delivered poor returns to shareholders. The returns have been, much lower than 15%, that is below cost of capital. So returns post de-tarification have largely remained in a single digit, even after adjusting for the TP pool losses. So obviously, the expectation from the shareholders will be what? Will be higher returns. So they obviously compare one financial product or one company with another company, right? So a few players, they earn substantially higher returns compared to the rest of the industry. Mainly, it can be due to their superior underwriting performance, especially in the insurance sector. Then the last, the customer experience and loyalty is concerned. The industry has shown an improvement on customer service and experience, especially when I say in insurance sector, the experience and the loyalty, it is nothing but the claim settlement and how much time the company will take to settle the claim, right? So it will be claim settled in 1 month will be, is as per the survey, it is less than 60%. However, students, please understand this, customer grievances, even the customer grievances are drastically dropping, because nowadays what has happened is, if any type of customer grievance is there, the companies will be having their mail IDs, they'll be sharing their mobile numbers, they'll be sharing their WhatsApp numbers. So immediately when you approach them, so they will take hardly minimal time to solve your issues. So even on this dimension, there is a substantial dispersion in the performance across the players, with the best players performing up to 5 times better than the industry average and about 30 times better than the bottom quartile performers. So before going to this health insurance, let me elaborate still on the performance of private and public general insurance company, which the data what I have collected. See, the outcome above are a result of the interplay of various factors which have a significant influence on industry performance. So the first could be individual insurer capabilities, right? See, players have significantly improved the operating model and made progress in upgrading their product and distribution capabilities. One thing is sure, students, that any company, any business, any sector today, if they do not upgrade or if they do not implement the technology, which is changing at a very rapid pace across the globe, so that company won't survive in the market. They will be losing the market share, because today technology plays a very important role. See, who knew that there will be something called as COVID, which is going to affect the entire globe, and almost majority of the nations, they announced the lockdown. And in spite of that, in India, so we are educating to you through online mode. Who thought that uh, the education sector might totally change from offline to online, right? It is because of the technology upgradation what is happening across the world. And many of your brothers or sisters or your dad and mom who are working today, they all from past 1 month in Karnataka, they're working from home. And how they're communicating with their subordinates, it is all through online, right? So just imagine if this was not available, then what could be our scenario? So that is why each and every individual, each and every company today, they are looking for technology upgradation. They're looking for a platform to communicate with the client easily. Same in case of offline mode. Okay. So that is what I'm telling. Individual insurer capabilities. There's a large gap vis-a-vis the desired best practice on core technical capabilities with the significant spread across players. See, over time, the market has opened up and seen the entry of new players, which has increased the competition and choice for the customers. However, competition has largely remained price driven with the limited focus on creating new capabilities. However, students, what I want to tell is there's a wide opportunity to do more in terms of rising the industry profile and defining common standards and even self-regulation mechanism. And then other industry participants, when I speak about other industry participants, regulatory interventions over the last decade, please understand this, they have helped open up the industry and they foster more competition which benefited the complete industry as a whole. And India continues to attract capacity from global reinsurers, particularly on casualty and specialty lines of business. And however, the lack of local presence of global reinsurers has inhibited the market from getting access to the best talent and experience. And finally, the industry consists of more than more than 40 players, including the four public sector players, mobilized close to 40,000 crore of premia in the first 3 months of the year. The four public sector general insurance have recorded a growth of more than 11.9%. And SBI General Insurance, please understand, SBI General Insurance grew up to 30%, which was well above the industry average of 12.5% during the period from health insurance as well as the fire. So just imagine the potential of this particular sector, that is the general insurance is concerned. Then we will try to understand the health insurance majorly. So what are the benefits of health insurance, or what are the key terminologies involved in health insurance? See, health insurance, which is also known as a medical insurance. Let me explain you what is health insurance. Then I'll go to each point over there, what I have listed over there. Health insurance, also known as medical insurance, is a form of insurance which covers the expenses incurred on medical treatment and hospitalization. See, students, during this past 1.5 year, we have come to know the importance of this health insurance. Because when we are admitted to hospital due to some critical illness, the amount or the bill what we are getting will be in lakhs. So from where to arrange the funds, right? For the middle class family, or for the lower middle class family, how to arrange the funds for the hospital? Otherwise, they're not discharged, or proper medical facilities won't be given, right? So what this health insurance will do is, health insurance, it is also known as medical insurance, is a form of insurance which covers the expenses incurred on medical treatment and even the hospitalization. And it covers the individual as well as family against any type of financial constraints arising from the medical emergencies. So health insurance, like other forms of insurance, it is actually a form of collectivism by means of which people collectively pool their risk. In this case, the risk of incurring medical expenses. Students, today, the bill of this COVID, what we are seeing is crossing more than 5 lakh, 6 lakh in a good hospital, right? So at that particular time, if you are running for health insurance, so it will take more time, right? So what I suggest you, the first salary itself, whenever you start working, the first salary itself, go for some good medical insurance from a good company, reputed company, so that you and your family will be protected because you don't know this entire subject what we are studying, managing the risk. So how to manage the risk? This is one form. Okay, the collective is usually publicly owned or else is organized on a non-profit basis for the members of the pool. In some countries, health insurance pools may also be managed for profit companies. It is sometimes used more broadly to include the insurance covering disability or a long-term nursing or custodial care. And very important here, what we need to understand, even it may be purchased on a group basis too. For example, your companies can have a group insurance for all the employees, and you will be covered in that. Or purchased by an individual, it can be purchased by an individual. In each case, students, the covered groups or individuals pay premiums. That is very important. So it can be yearly premium, or if the premium is very big for you, you can divide it and consult the financial advisor and tell him that, see, I cannot pay the yearly premium of say 24,000 or 25,000 or 30,000. So what I can do is I can pay quarterly or I can pay semi annually, something like that. You can discuss with your financial advisor and he'll get it done for you based on your comfortability of your finance. And similar benefits paying for medical expenses may also be provided through social welfare programs funded by the government. So, by estimating the overall risk of health expenses, that is, healthcare expenses, a routine finance structure uh, can be developed, ensuring that money is available to pay for the healthcare benefits specialized in the insurance agreement. And here I have seen many people, many of my friends, many of the elderly people, I have informed them about health insurance, the benefit of health insurance. But what they feel normally is the premium amount. When they see, they feel that, Array, what will happen to me? Nothing will happen to me. So why I should pay that premium, yearly premium, that too? Correct. So they are very confident that nothing will happen to them. And when something happens, if they're admitted to hospital, seeing that medical bill only, they'll be shocked, because they cannot arrange at that particular time such a lump sum amount, right? So I have told many people, but that's what I'm telling you, the awareness is not there about all these insurance products. So what is this health insurance policy basically? So a health insurance policy is a legal contract between an individual or a group of individuals and a company or any government program that describes how the medical bills of the individual or group will be paid. So, as a legal document, a health insurance policy contains the terms that are unique to this type of document. So, the health insurance policy affects the individual or group who purchases the policy, the company or the government agency that sells or provides health insurance policies. So, insurance against the loss by illness or bodily injury. And very important here, health insurance policies provide coverage uh, for medicine, or it can be due to hospital stays and also other medical expenditure. See, there are few provisions for each and every policy. So, what are those? We will try to understand that. The first and very important policy of this health insurance would be the renewal or continuous provision. That is very important. Renewal of the policy. So what is renewal of the policy? Say for example, every year uh, June 25th is my renewal date of the policy. So what happens? June 25th, before to that itself, you will get a reminder SMS, you will get a reminder mail from the company to which you have taken the health insurance, from the company from which you have taken the health insurance. And if you do not pay the premium on time, so there's no question of renewal, right? So you have to renew the policy every year, then only the coverage will be given to you. So what is this renewal provision? Renewal or the continuous provision relate to the insured's right to continue his or her individual coverage from the policy period to the next year. So the students, it can be generally classified as like optionally renewable, conditionally renewing, guaranteed renewing, and non-cancelable and guaranteed renewing. So let me explain each one in detail. So what is this option renewing? See, option, as the name only suggests, please understand, in these type of policies that have been issued that were renewed at the option of the insurer. So this approach generally is not used in the present scenario. That means an option will be given to the person who is taking the insurance, that only if he desires to continue, he can renew the contract, or he can pay the premium and renew the contract. And then the second one, what we discussed, was conditionally renewing. That means this is another approach that sometimes used within the is that the policies may be conditionally renewed. In that, there are restrictions on the insurer's right for of non-renewing. For example, it can be in a franchise or association group coverages where the insurer may not be able to refuse the renewal unless the insured ceases to be a member of the association. So the insured ceases to be actively engaged in the occupation, or the insurer refuses to renew all the policies issued to the members of the particular group. Then the third one will be like, guaranteed renewing. That means, see, for policies that are issued after June 30th, 1997, as per Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Let me repeat once again. For the policies that are issued after June 30, 1997, okay, that is Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. We call it as HIPAA. It requires most individual medical expense contracts to be guaranteed renewing at the option of the policy holder. So what it means? It means it would seem desirable for the policyholders to make, even if the cost is somewhat higher. So non-renewing is allowed only in limited circumstances. Insurers are also can also may write disability income coverages on a guaranteed renewing basis. Now you can ask me a question, sir. Now presently, in my family, my father, mother, and I am staying. So can I take my insurance and add my parents? Obviously, yes. But the premium again increases. As the member of the family increases, the premium rates also increases. Because why? The reason is the coverage. The companies has to give more coverage, right? So as the members of the family increases, as you add more people in the same contract, obviously the premium also increases. Then what we are understanding now, health insurance policy provisions. The second important provision here is contract, health contract, what we call. See, the moment you pay the premium, so you will be getting the contract for that particular year to your mail inbox, as well as the hard copy will be sent from the head office or from the concerned office in the local office or the regional office to your residential address. But during this COVID time, everything is online. So directly the fresh contract, which is a renewed one, will be coming to your mail inbox. So this provision states that the written policy, its application and endorsements constitute the entire agreement. So no other documents or unattached applications may be incorporated by the reference to modify the contract's terms. In addition, students, if there are any changes, they must be written and are only valid if the company agrees to them. And agents may not waive or modify the terms of the written contract. See, agents cannot modify it. And then we have something called as grace period. What is grace period? That's very interesting to understand. The grace period allows the policy to remain in force for a short period. While the premium is past due, typically they'll give you 31 days for the annual premium policies. If the premium remains unpaid after the grace period expires, the policy terminates. Then who will be incurring loss? Obviously the policyholder, right? So for example, students, if June 20th, my policy should be renewed, then what I have to do before that or on that particular day, I need to pay the premium so that a policy will be generated in my name and it will be emailed to me so that I can, whenever some untoward incident happens, so I can have that particular policy. But if I do not pay the premium, what happens? Within the stipulated, even the company will provide the grace period, which is actually mentioned in the contract, right? So the policy terminates. So ultimately, who is the loser here? Ultimately, the policy holder. So what we are trying to understand now, we are trying to understand the health insurance policy provisions. Then there is something called as uh, claims. Claims, right? The insured must file a claim notice and submit a proof of loss within the specified time limit. That is very important. And who will mention the specified time limit? It will be mentioned, printed in the document. What you after paying the premium, what document you will receive. If you read that, everything will be printed on that. But many of the people whom I have seen, what they'll do is the moment they get the contract, they'll directly keep in the locker. They'll not even see. So only when there is a problem, they'll open that particular locker and they see. But the policy what they have taken and for what they are claiming, it is not matching. Then they'll come to know. Okay, but that is not the actual way. Wherever you invest, suppose amount is debited from your bank account, it is credited to any account, say insurance or mutual funds or equity or bank SB account. Immediately then and there only you have to read thoroughly. Wait over there, wait for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, let it be half an hour, but confirm whether the amount you have transacted is reflecting over there. Right. So that has to be cross verified, and then only you can move from your place. That is very, very important. Then after that, we have something called as physical exam and auto spy. So here, what we have to understand here is insurers retain the right to examine an insured as often as necessary to determine the claim legitimacy. But however, insurers cannot harass. See, that is a very important thing, students. They cannot harass the insured by unreasonable requirements. Then finally, the change of beneficiary. See, the insured must notify the insurer in writing to the change of beneficiary. Typically, students, the beneficiary is the person responsible for paying the medical expenses incurred. And thus, the insured and the beneficiary will often, but not necessarily, be the same individual. Okay. Then we'll try to understand some of the exclusions of health insurance plan. Exclusions. I'm not telling inclusions, but I'm telling exclusions of health insurance plan. So what are the exclusions? The exclusions on a health insurance plan vary. They vary marginally from company to company, right? So what one should pay special attention is to whether pre-existing disease or a treatment for a common but expensive treatment such as cataract or hernia will be covered or no. That is very important. What you have to check. And some of the exclusions commonly I'm telling, because it differs from again company to company and the policy what you are taking, right? Some of the typical expenses that are not covered by a general insurance company are like any disease or injury during the first 30 days of commencement of policy. That is common to all the majority of the companies, except like accidental injury. And permanent exclusions could comprise of the following illness, which can be change of life or cosmetic or aesthetic treatment. Say someone wants to go for uh, cosmetic or aesthetic treatment, and they cannot claim under this because it is not covered. It is mentioned to you in the contract, right? And then plastic surgery, unless necessitated due to an accident or as a part of any illness. And then they'll mention all this in the contract, but we have to read it thoroughly. Then dental treatment or surgery of any kind of unless requiring hospitalization. Then cost of spectacles, contact lenses and hearing aids. uh, Hospital or nursing home charges not forming a part of any treatment. And very important, students, what I've heard from many people is, let me share this experience. When you sign a contract, when you pay the premium for a particular insurance company for the health insurance, there will be the list of hospitals mentioned. Say for example, in Belgaum, if you take ABC Health Insurance, ABC Health Insurance have got a tie up with the list of hospitals. So you need to go and admit only in those hospitals so that you can have a cashless treatment. Otherwise, you cannot simply go to any hospital and admit and then you claim for that particular thing. Nowadays, almost all the health insurance companies have got a tie up with majority of the reputed hospitals in your particular place or in your city. But once, what I suggest everyone is, you have to check the hospital where you want to get admitted. Okay, that is very important thing. Then any internal congenital illness and pregnancy and childbirth related disease. And you will be shocked to know that majority of the health insurance companies today, they even covered the COVID treatment too. That was a cashless treatment what they have provided, right? And use or misuse of liquor, intoxicating substances or drugs, as well as intentional self-injury, and it can be war, riots, strike, terrorism acts, nuclear weapon induced treatment. So these are some of the exclusions of health insurance. So these are uh, some of the concepts related to health insurance, but let me explain you some of the advantages and disadvantages of health insurance and some of the major classification of health insurance. So what could be some of the advantages of health insurance? Yes, anybody? Explain you the concept of health insurance. Or anybody wants to share their experience with health insurance, or all of you have taken health insurance, or how it is? I want to know a small feedback from you all. Any experience you want to share, or what are the advantages of health insurance according to you? Or is health insurance required for every individual today? How do you feel? Yes, students, just a general discussion. Vishal.
Yes, sir. Health insurance is very necessary in this type of situations, especially COVID time.
Hmm.
There are other diseases also, but the people nowadays they are only focused on COVID, but the other diseases we need cure, right? And there is no business over now. And
True,
from
true, true, absolutely true.
yes, yes, if there is a health insurance, we can cover our losses.
Very good, very good. See, that is one
And
good point what he told. There is no income generation now, there is no business, there is absolutely no income generation. So during this time, I think only a person whose family member is affected by COVID, he'll be knowing the problem or the seriousness of this, or how much loss has happened to his family. Very true, Vishal. I agree with you. Very true. So according to you, health insurance is a must for every individual. Correct. Any other student? Vinith, am I audible? What do you feel? Whether what are the advantages of health insurance? Minaj, Kazi, anybody? Kumar, Mr. Kumar.
Yes, sir.
So what, according to you, Kumar, what do you feel?
So it's very necessary, sir. So
Okay.
we can't expect that when what can happen with us from
True,
crisis
true.
and all.
See what Kumar told, that I 100% agree. We cannot expect that I'll be all right the next day. Right. We are seeing, and lot of our relatives we saw during this particular tough time, lot of people have gone. So anything can happen with us. So according to all of you, let me summarize and put like this, that some of the beautiful advantage of health insurance is like prevention. See, all of you know the proverb, prevention is better than cure, right? So we should not wait that something will happen to me, then I'll run to an health insurance and take it. So before that itself, if you are insured or if you have taken the health insurance, that will give you the confidence, right? That will give you the confidence. And then automatically when you're admitted to the hospital due to any sort of disease, you can have a cashless settlement. That confidence will be there. So what is that? The first advantage I'm going to say is prevention. So, one of the most significant advantages of having health insurance is the ability to prevent diseases through early detection and doctor recommended lifestyle changes. This prevention not only keeps citizens healthier, but students, please understand, it also saves money. But people think that I'm paying so much premium and that's an expenditure. No, 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 that's not an expenditure. Let me cover. You are trying to save the lump sum amount which you are paying in the future for your health, to take care of your health. Okay. And please understand this, students, the early you start, the premium will be lesser for you. So that's my request. In each and every batch, what I told is, let it be investment, let it be insurance. The early you start, now you people, now you students are all 23, 24. So probably if you get a job and get the first salary, so the early you start taking all this type of insurance and mutual fund SIPs, or investing in a good stock, the more you gain. Because why? The reason is very simple. You are just 23 now. You can continue this for the next 20 years, right? The premium will be less and you'll not be having much burden on you. Okay. So that is the first advantage of health insurance. The second one will be what, as I mentioned to you, like peace of mind or the confidence what you will get. The peace of mind. Why peace of mind? Because having health insurance leads to peace of mind for those who have it. So, very rightly told, if a nagging problem such as an unusual pain persists in someone with a health insurance, they can go up to the doctor without a significant out of pocket expenses. You can directly go to any doctor, see him, and even if he tells that some minor surgery is required, operation is required, you can be confident. Otherwise, what happens today? People are hesitant to go to hospitals because of the bills. That is one biggest problem, right? So why people are not going to hospitals today? Because of what might happen to me, what about the financial thing to me, right? So they're afraid of that. And then the next point would be less lost time. That means people with health insurance who get sick can take a sick day from work, so visit the doctor, get treated, and possibly be back to work in a day or two if the illness is minor. So these are some of the serious advantages of taking a health insurance. And then we have disadvantages of health insurance. So I'll take 1 minute break, students. 1 minute. Let me drink water. Okay. See, what are the disadvantages of health insurance? Very important is, yes, anybody? A lot of thing, as I mentioned to you, the document size will be in pages. So only a few people will read the entire document. The policy is concerned. They'll try to understand what exactly is there in the policy, or how many people are covered in the policy, whether my entire family is covered or no. So a lot of complicated rules will be there. So another disadvantage of health insurance is the complicated nature of using it. So many policies require referrals instead of allowing a patient to go straight to a specialist. And then lack of choice is one of the, again, some of the disadvantage of health insurance. What I feel is, so when I say lack of choice, a significant disadvantage of many health insurance policies is the inability of the insured to choose which doctor they see or which hospital they use. Correct? See, for example, some hospital is very reputed in Belgavi, but that is not listed in the insurance what we are taking. So what I suggest you is, before taking the health insurance, first speak to the concerned agent or the financial advisor, asking that this particular hospital, is it listed in your in your insurance, whether it is listed. If no, then directly reject that, go for other company. There are a lot of choices available for you. Okay. But then the last disadvantage could be something like premiums and the coverages. So what are these premiums and coverages? The main disadvantage of health insurance is the fact that it costs money. And sometimes, though today students, you're all educated, you can use internet, you can compare the premiums. But see, what is happening is, in the rural side, people, they do not, they're lacking, or the awareness is not there. So what happens? A agent will go and he will just educate about his product, and then ensure that the person will take the insurance. So what about the premium over there? They cannot compare because of what? Awareness. So even though it can potentially save a patient's thousands of rupees by having it, there are still monthly premiums that must be paid, or quarterly premium that must be paid, or yearly premium that must be paid. Correct? In addition, the constantly rising premiums do not necessarily indicate a higher level of coverage. And one more thing, what I want to say is, the see, this is very important. Please understand, the earning of an individual has come down. The earning of an individual has come down, but the expenditure or the day-to-day expenses have increased drastically. So people feel that this is very, very costly, nothing else. So the earning has drastically reduced. You can observe the earnings are not there at all. Reduce means what? Okay. But what is happening is the expenditure, the daily expenditure has increased. You cannot eat only 2 times or 1 time in order to reduce the expenditure, right? You have to eat 3 times during COVID, also during lockdown, also. So you need to get vegetables, you need to get food grains. So all these expenditures are there. But during this particular tough time, what people are feeling is the premium what they're paying for the insurance is costly. So these are some of the drawbacks or the disadvantages of health insurance, students. Okay. Next, after that, this health insurance is concerned. The following, there are a lot of types of health insurance coverage. You can see the slide here. The first one is called as long-term care coverage, and the second one is called as disability insurance coverage or income insurance, mediclaim policy, group mediclaim policy. Then we have PAP, that's called personal accident policy, child welfare policy, and employee group insurance. So this slide I will cover and then I will end today's session, students. But please concentrate. This is very important. Explain the various types of individual health insurance. So you can please remember this. So let me take the first one, students, to all of you today. Long-term care coverage. See, some of the important features of this long-term care coverage are type of care covered. As the name only suggests, long-term. That means what? Type of care covered. While the largest expenses related to the long-term care cover result from a stay in a nursing home. So many people are able to remain in their homes with the assistance of visiting nurses, therapists, and even housekeepers. So these long-term care policies can be written to cover such home care. And age is not a determining factor in needing long-term care. Correct? About 60% of individuals over the age of 65 will require at least some type of long-term care services during their lifetime. And about 40% of those receiving long-term care today are between 18 and 64. And once a change of health occurs, long-term care insurance may not be available. Then disability income insurance, students. The second type. See, disability income insurance replaces income not earned because of illness or accident. So how do you define disability? The definition of disability is is one of the most important contractual features. And some contracts have an own profession clause while others have an any profession clause. So after the initial period, the insured is totally disabled when he is unable to perform the principal duties of his occupation and not is gainfully employed in any occupation. So disability income insurance is a logical complement to life insurance. Although people do not purchase it as often, one explanation for the less frequent individual purchase of disability insurance is that benefits from workers, compensation, social security, and even successful negligence may provide disability income. Correct? So, disability income insurance policies are designated as either short or long term, depending on the period coverage which is provided. Then very popular we have is called as mediclaim policy. See, what is this mediclaim policy? People with the last stage renal disease, people with permanently disability, and seniors above the age of 65 years are beneficiaries under this plan. So the Medicare health insurance program that is set up for the medical welfare of elderly people. So if a person is a senior citizen looking for policies not covered by Medicare health insurance, immediately he or she should consider the Medicare supplement health insurance depending on his or her specific need. Right? Then we have very important for you, which is applicable, is called as group mediclaim policy whenever you start working. So what happens here? The group health insurance is an insurance plan that provides health care coverage to a selected group of people. So for example, when you start working with a reputed company, the company itself will take care of or they will get it done for you. So group health insurance plan are one of the major benefits offered by many employers. Please understand this. These plans are generally uniform in nature, offering the same benefits to all the employees or the members of the group. So group health insurance plan provides the health coverage to a small group of people. Normally, it will be the employees of the organization. And the group health insurance plan are one of the great benefits that many employers will be getting. Then we have a group mediclaim policy. The group mediclaim policy is available to any group or association or institution, corporate body, provided it has a central point of administration and subject to a minimum number of persons or individuals to be covered by this policy. See what happens here. This policy offers the same coverage as available in the individual mediclaim policy, but with the difference that in this policy, cumulative bonus and health checkup expenses are not payable. Okay, then we will go to personal accident policy. See, the personal accident policy is a cover meant for compensation in case of an accident that is causing injury or death to a person by violent external means. So what happens here? A personal accident policy gives financial relief to you or other insured people if they sustain any injury or death due to accident. Correct? Then we have very important, that is very benefit to the children, that is child welfare policy. See, the child's future and builds, we have to secure the child's future and build a stronger financial security with a double-edged sword called child insurance, because many of them have not taken the child welfare policy. Child plan is insurance come investment plan that serves two purposes, students. One is what? They cover the insurance as well as the returns when the child will attain a certain age like 18. So the advantage of this child welfare policy is what? Financially secure the child's future and finance the turning points in his life, such as higher education and marriage. You can plan it accordingly. Then finally, employee group insurance. See, an employee group policy may be issued to an employer where insurance is secured for the benefit of the employees or for persons other than the employer. The employer is the policy owner and establishes the eligibility class of employees to be covered under the group policy. So usually this classification will include all the full-time employees, and further the classification can also specify full-time salaried non-union employees. Okay, so these the various forms of health insurance what we discussed today. In the next class, I'll be taking you to fire insurance. So thank you so much, students, for your patience listening. I hope all of you had a great understanding of the concept what we discussed today. So with this, I will end the today's session. Thank you so much, students, once again.
Thank you, sir.